Eve Paints.
Hey folks, welcome to another 3D printing Patreon preview. I have 135 campaigns this month, with an additional 27 in the lightning round at the end. Quick content warning: some of these images contain pinup style models, and I've left a link in the description to a video I did discussing why that may need a content warning. Alright, let's get started. Lost World Miniatures has 7 Warforged this month, with some made of metal and some made of wood. Caballero Miniatures is releasing a small army of warlocks and acolytes, including mounted units. Cert Studio has sculpted these 2 lovely dragons for you to paint this month. Don Whitaker is taking patron requests this month. He does mostly plant-based terrain. Here are several interesting sculptures from Wall 8's Miniatures Mini Studio. "3DS of San," if I'm saying that correctly, has a 75mm werewolf for you to paint. Cult of Pickle presents the Gherkin, a custom PC race with a pickle for every class. For real. Well, fantasy, but... Jamie Corte made us a free Sword in the Stone this month. Gang Fight Games is releasing some Western-looking outlaws for the month of January. Here's a necromancer riding the Undead Tide by Village's Hope Miniatures. Clay Beast Creations brings us Starscales, lizards from outer space, with melee weapons. Mojibake has been working on panda people this month. Polygrim has some cyberpunk-looking characters and scatter terrain this month. Hellforged Miniatures has Karnage Berserkers out for the month of January. Here are some tanks and mech suits with modular weaponry from Fable Table this month. Random Miniatures has alien attackers and alien attack repellent forces. Daddy Dungeon and Dentorni has some nice buildings and scatter terrain as usual. Epic Adventure Miniatures has been working on a Tiefling Warlock and a Human Barbarian this month. Red Nebular has Dreadforged Troopers, Space Elves, and Lunar Coalition Mediators. Thunderchrome has a disused Hot Rod Garage for your bleak sci-fi futures. Panzer Printer has 2 German half-tracks with names that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. Here are 4 little fox folk from Naga Minis this month. Warblade Studio is back this month with 4 preview images of their January release. Zandoria Studios has been working on an epically large room tile, as well as some stone pillars. Magori Miniatures has a war wagon with crew, goatmen, and more. Maddox Historical Miniatures has multi-part colonial militia members, and a nice little fort for them to protect. Two Gargoyles Studio has been releasing quite a bit related to their new Soldiers of Viria this month. The Ruins of Evermist, Lizard Folk Ceremonial Party by newcomer to the show, Nova Minis. Owlbears, Tieflings, Wukong, and Koala Folk from Clinch for January. Heroes and Beasts has a modular warrior hero and modular minotaur beast this month. Dragon's Lake Miniature has a Hydra, 5 acolytes, and a chariot. Ilhadiel has released a lot since last video, including elf bits, lion witches, and more. Here are the latest pocket monsters from Model Monster, a Jigglypuff with optional Christmas pose. Here's the most recent release from Labradorite Wolf, a giant jumping Santa spider. He has a gift for you. $154 has made a Minotaur Cook, a Tiefling Barrister, and some Chocobirds from last month. Colossal Miniatures has Modern Day Survivors Series 6, as well as apparently an army of ratfolk. Velrock Art Miniatures has several familiars for us this month, each with 3 poses. From Space Legats, we have Astro Demons, Chalawan, and Merak, and a Cougar tank to gun them down with. Void Realm Minis has created some cultists, and other creepy things for them to worship. Maddox has made us a team of Mandalorians this month, as well as a Shadow Assassin. From Legend Builds this month, we have Goblins, Spyron Moonface, Solon's Falcons, and Grias the Golden. Imperatum Art has some Space Elf Warriors this month, along with jet bikes to back them up. Role-Playing Miniatures is working on badass halflings this month, as well as these Mind Flayer tadpoles. Crucible of Games has modular sci-fi warriors and their drones, the 2 Pi crew. Here are 6 different poses of racked warriors from Edge Miniatures this month. New minis from Studio DR since last video, we have Old Dark Witch Hunters. Sable Badger created some cottages this month, as well as sci-fi industrial bases, tilestone ramparts, and a bit of Tau scenery. Crosslances has 3 Dryads for their first release this month, and 3 Giants for their second. Big Mr. Tong has been putting out a lot this month, with Undead Space Skellies, Servitors, Beastmen, and Skelly Pirates. Here are some evil little elves, a flesh golem, and some winged lizard folk from Cursed Forge Miniatures. .3D Hex's most recent release is a set of floating islands for your adventurers to explore. Matt Mason is back and putting out tanks and Battletech related mechs again. Kyoshu Neko Miniatures has Longbeard and Longbraid Dwarfs this month, as well as Sci-Fi Dwarfs as part of a crossover with Papsicles Miniatures. Gloomy Kid Minis is bringing us Hippokin this month, with Marksmen, Cannoneers, a Captain, and more. So it's still a work in progress, but Outrageous Creations Knight for their Battle Nuns is looking pretty great so far. Battle Yak Miniatures brings us Clan Wizard, Ratfolk with a good range of customizability. This windmill from Dragon Workshop is still listed as a work in progress, but there is a GIF of one with a motor in it on their campaign page. A bunch of great minis from Onmyoji, no descriptions though. I see some Valkyries, some Undead Knights maybe, and a couple bar staff for sure. Print and Paint Miniatures theme this month is Wildwood Adventure, with elves and nymphs and tree folk. Here are 2 more superheroes from Bombshell Miniatures, Wavefront and Earthquake. Dark Foundry continue to extend their different lines with The Drowned for the Tidehaunters, and a Technops Prince with Latro Technis kit for their Technops line. The Dieselpunk collection from Print Minis includes characters, troopers, mecha, tanks, an oil refinery, and more. Last Sword Miniatures January release is mostly about a wizard and his golems, as well as some adventurers and a large display piece or terrain. Since last video, Peculiar Companions has released heavy cavalry along with a mounted commander, as well as light/medium infantry. Rober Roland has 5 busts this week, including Green Lantern, Bebop, and what I'm pretty sure is Donatello, and more. RG Sculpt is working on satyrs this month. Already we have a hunter, a bard, a female assassin, and a warlock, with more coming. The Dungeon All-Stars by Warplock Miniatures includes a Beholder, a Lich, and multi-part skellies for you to build. And it's only part 1, so expect more next month. Black Remnant has brought us Cade Skywalker and his friend Jariah Sam, Coleman Trebor, Kragan Gore, and more from various different Star Wars franchises. The Harsh North by Crippled God Foundry includes a Bugbear Warband, Yetis, Frost Giants, and other creatures of the cold. January brings out some creepy monsters from Creature Armory, including a Beholder, Wendigo, Mimic, and more. Here's part of a little Gremlin warband from Aether Studios, with little machines and mecha to go with them. Davale Games has 6 half-persons, 4 whole persons, a tree person, and a facade for a little half-person hole or something. Goonmaster Games has been working on the Turtle Clan this month, with 17 turtles in a ninja theme and Japanese-style scenery. Tiger Skull RPG has released the Marksman of Death, 4 Skelly warriors, armored and armed with bows and crossbows. Welcome to Tulipa, the Infested World. Now, run for your life. Whatever Xenos made these are likely coming for you, by Sacris Mundus. Here are a bunch of rogues left over from December by Lion Tower Minis, as well as some light infantry for the month of January. Since last video, Bright Minis has made some Northmen and Snow Golems at the end of December, as well as a couple Maidens and a couple of Goblins with bows, both with and without their Warthog mounts. There's a bunch of bandits coming out of Titan Troll Miniatures this month. For busts, we get a bandit, a fawn girl, and a rock giant. That evil one has some evil marines for us, the Cacophony, both with and without jetpacks. Now they just need audio weapons. Albino Raven Minis is releasing an energy weapon squad this month, as well as a jetpack squad. Both sets are modular with lots of different options. Sarli Factory makes some solid scatter terrain in their Battle Builder tech line. This month we have lava terrain and crashed Titan terrain. Schlossbauer gives their minis away for free, but has additional poses for Patreon supporters. And they make a lot too, so they might be worth checking out. The 9 green mercenaries of the void, fierce orc warriors, are coming from Daybreak Miniatures this month. Prey Collection Studio does minis from popular cartoons. These appear to be Manta Ray and the Rat King from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and either Jab from Street Sharks or Hammerhead from Ninja Turtles. Here is the full December release from Epix and Stuffs. For January so far, we have 2 little shroomies, an apprentice and a thief, and 2 big abominations, a berserker and a plague bringer. Seb Miniatures is continuing their Shadow Collective line, with plans in the future for Wookiees and some Mandalorian-related minis. Here's 4 more of December's models from Great Grimoire, as well as a look at this month's Alice, Dr. Miles Rook, and 2 patients he's caring for with a bit of sanitarium scenery to go with it. From Twin Goddess Miniatures comes a Spelljammer Lich, as well as male and female orc with different variations. Chapter 6, Into the Mountains by The Printing Goes Ever On, includes the whole fellowship of the Thing, with Aranglor, Lagalad, Falco, Perry, Mippin, and all the rest. Also, wargs with warg riders and spy ravens. Manuel Boria has been working on some Dark Knights this month. The first image is still a work in progress, but there is a Blood Knight, a Blight Knight, and some others still in the design phase. A small army of Slades has joined the collection of Yasashi Kyojin this month. They come in blue, red, green, gray, and death variants. Gear Guts just puts out too many orcs. These are all from this month, and don't include any that came out after my video last month. From Dark Realms emerges the Floating Islands of Huazia, as well as Skywardens, the Guardians of Huazia. Bite the Bullet is bringing us Minotaurs this month, as well as a Spartan Lady, some Scatter Terrain, and a female Gladiator with NSFW options. Cobra Mode have their own aesthetic of mini that they make, and there is always lore behind them. Hanamaru Hanzaki, for instance, is very nurturing and prefers to incapacitate her enemies rather than kill them. They also make 5th edition stats for their creations. This is a pretty nice ruined abbey from Gamescape 3D, as well as fences and walls for a jousting field. Ritual casting brings us Lady Cassandra, commander of the Athosian Legion, with many different options available for painting. From Masterwork Tools' Open Forge line this month, we get a modular druid circle, as well as ruined stone tiles with floors, walls, and corner pieces. And Open Forge is free, so support these folks. Print Your Monsters has a Coven of Witches, and some witches' huts for them to bring to life, I guess. Also, some sacrificial altars and other occult-related things. From Monstrous Encounters, we meet several Fomorians with modular hands, as well as a damsel for your adventurers to distress over. Also, modular Stargate SG team soldiers. I really like the diorama display these werewolves from STL Miniatures come on. I've been wanting to make things like that for a while. Also, they have a fabric seller with some shop items to make him look convincing. I think he's a werewolf though. Here are Asgard Risings minis from December that didn't make the last video. This month, we have a good variety of villagers. There's supposed to be a ready-to-fight set of villagers as well, and town square / marketplace terrain revealed in the next few days. Papsickel's January Sci-Fi tier has a bunch of cyberpunk ladies, some tactical fellas, a couple robots, bikes, and more. Their fantasy tier seems to be a sci-fi crossover with Kyoshu Neko miniatures, which you already saw earlier. Ve Victus Miniatures is doing a Townsfolk 01 this month, so hopefully we will get more quality Townsfolk and Scattertrain like it in the future. From Raven Twin Miniatures, we have Skink Hunters with spears, swords, and blowpipes, as well as spearbacks, snake swarms, and the undead Coatl Lord. Duncan Shadow has released a whole bunch of tieflings this month, as well as some hedgehog folk and a great big giant. The Old Champion, the Comet Lord, and Star Stalkers are new minis from Comet Lord Miniatures in January, and they've updated their Mimic and Eye Sovereign from previous month's releases. From White Werewolf Tavern this month, we have Ladria, the Necromancer, both as a statuette and bust. There's also a Wraith, 4 Skellies, and concept art for a Dead Lord, a Lich, and Kunar, the Giant Slayer. Continuing the Pirates fantasy football team from last month, Punga Miniatures is releasing Pirates support staff for the month of January. There are also 4 new star players and an armored rat ogre, amongst others. In the January release from Printed Obsession, we have the Gith, a species that comes from the void. Do you side with the Elders or the Pirates? Coming from the Dragon's Rest in January, we have Lava Tiles, an improved LED brazier, and there are some work-in-progress dungeon risers coming to life as well. Highland Miniatures January release are the Questing Knights. There seem to be 5 knights total, as well as 3 in a command group, all of which have both a mounted and an on-foot version. Night Under the Bloody Moon from RN Studio brings us some creepy monsters like the Fog of Death and the Devouring Horror, but also some witch and monster hunters to handle them. Rocket Pig Games has their usual array of creepy creatures big and small. They've added a few models to their Tusklands line. Those and a giant ice cyclops and Tyrant of Hunger all come with 5th edition datasheets. There's also T-Rexes, a woolly Hydra, a clockwork Minotaur, and more. This month, 3D Art Guy is bringing Dark Unity to the table, a cult that you probably don't want to get too involved with. Yeah, I know some of the girls are real exotic and interesting, not like the other girls around here, but trust me, these people do not have your best interests at heart. Clay Cyanide Miniatures Steampunk release this month sees all sorts of interesting characters popping up, including Alice from Wonderland, Mary Poppins, Sherlock Holmes, Nikola Tesla, Jack the Ripper, the Three Musketeers, and quite a few more. Best Yarn Miniatures welcomes the Exaltators for the month of January, one of the numerous cults harrowing the kingdom of Odgard. There is an epic multi-part warrior kit, 2 warrior spawns, Bektur, their mighty leader, and the Jericho, a noise titan. Gamek has some Eldari jet bikes and Harlequin proxies in their sci-fi release this month, and some Chaos Knight looking proxies on their fantasy end of things. These images are still a work in progress, but Anvil Digital Forge is working on a mech for January. It will apparently have high and low tech options for the torso, power plant, and a couple other components. I'm excited to see the finished work. This month from the Dragon Trappers Lodge we have Raiju, an Earth Dragon, the Fierce Kirin, and an Oni. Also there's Nobutada and his optional mount Choto, Sakura, and Yamakaze seems to have a dragon of his own. Mia K's patrons voted for winter-themed minis last month, and here they are. 2 snowmen of differing temperaments, an Ice Queen, a Winter Wolf, and an adventurer dressed for the weather. Just your normal everyday cyberpunk citizens to enrich your environments from Unit 9 this month. Just waiting for the bus you might find Robert Holloway, Damian Brennan, or Lucy Chu. Okay, the skateboard kid has 4 arms. I'm not sure how normal that is, but his balance must be excellent. More of the same concept art as last month from One Page Rules, but I've also got some models to show you this month as well. The Robot Spider and Guardians are looking pretty good, and the Saurians they're working on have also come out pretty well. There's also an extra model, Captain Rat, from Punga Miniatures. Lost Kingdom is back in the Undead Egypt aesthetic, which always looks awesome. There's a Bone Colossus, Sand Bedouins and Tomb Guardians, a Cursed Scorpion, and a Scarab Catapult. Epic Miniatures released 83 miniatures this month. I did my best to get them all, but ended up with 91 images, so some of them might be multi-part or something. Everything from Tarrasques and Trolls to Werebears, Umberhulks, Minotaurs, and so much more. Goblins, Dragons, Tabaxi, Knights, check them out if you want just lots of minis. Lord of the Prince January release has 3 dragons, a bronze, a copper, and a dragon construct, as well as 3 construct soldiers, a hammerhead shark, a creepy trilogyra, and a centaur. Here is the full December release from the Maker's Cult, as well as previews for a few things from January. Some new Cyberzerkers, and Tempest Warriors, Jet Bikes, and Juggernauts. The Valor Corps has a new Walker, and here is a look at a Dark Techno Engine Priest. Are your adventurers about to travel through a forest? Do you want to make it a scary forest? Mini Monster Mayhem's Journey into the Forest provides all the terrifying monsters you need to frighten your players into fleeing. If they are clever enough, they might find a couple friends in here as well. That bear spirit looks angry. I'm sure he's good at heart though. Cast and Play has created the Woodenhorn Clan, a tribe of Minotaur folk with 6 characters, 2 young Minotaurs, and a bear and 2 hyenas that I'm gonna call pets. As well as that, and bases for them, you get a tent, a bunch of totems, some tiles, and some wooden walls to keep neighboring tribes out. Cyberforge Minis has a mutant uprising on their hands, not to mention an invasion of the dreaded Cybermorphs. Luckily they have their Cyberforce range, as well as a team of bounty hunters to help sort the situation out. Also, a Titan City Metro car and some sci-fi bases. Heroes Infinite this month is doing the Kingdom of the Depth, or Kingdom of the Deep, depending on which post you read. There are a number of merfolk and sea elves with various different mounts, as well as other creepy undersea things, and a couple big ones, Poseidon and a Kraken. Miguel, better known as MZ4250, has been hard at work on patron requests, as well as making his way through the monster manual. We're up to G, so we got gargoyles, ghosts, giants, gnolls, and more. I did my best to include every image he's posted since last video, and he gives them away for free, so Miguel definitely deserves your support. Archvillain Games has opened the Tome of Demons Volume 1, along with a 5th edition module to go along with them. But even if you don't play D&D, a number of these would make great proxies for Demon Princes. There are definitely Tzeentch and Khorne Princes here, and some of them would make do for Slaanesh as well. Not much but some fly-looking things for Grandpa Nurgle though. Artisan Guild presents the Frostmetal Clan this month. It comes with Frostmetal Orcs, Ogres, Warg Riders, and a weapon pack for them. Then there's the Necromancer with a couple of Skellies, a Warrior with optional mount, a Pinup Smith, and a bit of skull and spike scenery to go along with it. And finally, the theme for Titanforge's January release is Swamps, including a big tree being, some multi-part swamp dwellers that might make decent druids or rangers, frog folk and a big tortoise beast, and some fungi folk who may or may not have infected the zombie folk that follow. As usual, there are appropriately themed terrain and bases, as well as 3 new Titans of Adventure. Okay, into the lightning round. Dork Factory. Some assembly required. Red Dawn Miniatures. Sark's Foundry. Kraken's Vault. Print, Paint, and Play. Thrill Studio. Jeremy Smith. Zombie Smith. Skaven Trader. Two Moronic Miniatures. Warp Rider Games, Laser Forge Miniatures, Homunculus Creations, Your Neighbor Knight, The Waifu Forge, The Surreal Factory, Guardian's Destiny, My 3D Print Forge, Little Distraction Miniatures, The Nylon Realm, JG Sculpts, Zed Ronin 3D Prints, 3DS Mayhem, Eldritch Tabletop, Runesmith Miniatures, and Stormcrow. Well, that's all for this month. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then consider like and subscribing, or leave a comment down below. Check back weekly for my Kickstarter countdowns, and I'll see you next time.